In the small town of Amityville, New York, the events leading to what would become known as the Amityville Horror began with a chilling crime. On the night of November 13, 1974, 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. committed one of the most gruesome acts in the town's history. Using a .35 caliber rifle, he systematically murdered 6 members of his family: his father, Ronald DeFeo Sr., mother Louise DeFeo, brothers Mark and John, and sisters Dawn and Allison. The killings took place in their Dutch colonial home at 112 Ocean Avenue while they slept in their beds. The next morning, Ronald Jr. ran into a local bar shouting for help and claiming that his family had been shot. The police were called, and upon arrival at the house, they discovered the 6 lifeless bodies. Initially, Ronald Jr. tried to blame the murders on a mob hitman, but under intense questioning, he eventually confessed, stating that voices had urged him to carry out the killings. This confession would later fuel speculation that the house itself was haunted by some malevolent force. Despite its horrific past, the house at 112 Ocean Avenue was put up for sale. In December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz purchased the house for $80,000, a significant discount due to the property's dark history. They moved in with their 3 children, Daniel, Christopher, and Melissa, along with their dog, Harry. The Lutzes were initially thrilled with their new home, which was spacious and situated in a lovely neighborhood. The Lutzes were aware of the house's history, but they chose to move in regardless, believing that the past would not affect them. Little did they know, their decision would lead to one of the most infamous hauntings in American history. The eerie occurrences started almost immediately after the Lutz family moved in. At first, they noticed small, inexplicable events that seemed easy to dismiss. However, these occurrences soon escalated in frequency and intensity. The family frequently heard odd noises such as knocking, banging, and footsteps echoing through the halls at night. George often got up to investigate but found no source for the sounds. Certain areas of the house were inexplicably cold, despite the heating system functioning properly. The most notable cold spot was in the sewing room, which was always several degrees cooler than the rest of the house. Unpleasant smells, resembling the stench of a decaying body, would fill rooms without any apparent source. No matter how much they cleaned, the odors persisted. One of the most bizarre phenomena was the appearance of a green, gelatinous substance oozing from the walls and keyholes. This slime defied any logical explanation and terrified the family. Black stains appeared on the toilets and ceramic fixtures, which could not be removed despite thorough cleaning efforts. As the days passed, the Lutz's fear grew. The paranormal activity became more aggressive and targeted specific family members. George's behavior began to change drastically. He became moody, irritable, and obsessed with keeping the fireplace burning. He would wake up at exactly 3:15 a.m. every night, the estimated time of the DeFeo murders, feeling an overwhelming sense of dread. Kathy experienced frightening physical attacks. She reported being levitated off her bed and felt a strange force touching her. She also developed mysterious red welts on her body that seemed to appear without cause. The children also experienced terrifying events. Daniel and Christopher were constantly disturbed by the cold spots and the strange noises. Melissa, the youngest, began speaking of an imaginary friend named Jody, who she described as a demonic pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. On one occasion, Kathy saw Jody's red eyes peering through the window. George and Kathy reported feeling an invisible force pushing them and holding them down. George once felt a force pressing on his chest, making it difficult to breathe. In a desperate attempt to rid their home of the evil presence, the Lutzes sought help from the clergy. Father Ray Pecoraro, a local Catholic priest, agreed to bless the house. However, during the blessing, he experienced something terrifying. As he sprinkled holy water and recited prayers, he heard a deep, guttural voice commanding him to get out. He quickly left, warning the Lutzes that they should never use the upstairs room as a bedroom and advising them to move out of the house. The paranormal activity continued to escalate, with the Lutz family experiencing more and more disturbing events. George woke up one night to find Kathy levitating above their bed, her body contorted in an unnatural way. On another occasion, he saw her aged into a 90-year-old woman, her face wrinkled and hair white. These visions lasted only moments but left a lasting impact on George's psyche. The family reached their breaking point when they encountered the demonic entity Jody more frequently. Jody would appear as a large, menacing pig with glowing red eyes, frightening both the children and the adults. The constant fear, sleepless nights, and growing sense of dread took a toll on the Lutz's mental and physical health. After 28 days of relentless terror, the Lutz family decided to flee their home. They left most of their belongings behind, convinced that the house was cursed and that their lives were in danger. They moved in with Kathy's mother, and shortly after, they arranged for a moving company to retrieve their possessions from the house. Following their departure, the Lutzes contacted paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were known for their work on other high-profile cases. The Warrens visited the Amityville house in 1976 and conducted a thorough investigation. They reported feeling a strong presence of evil and capturing photographs of ghostly apparitions. One of the most famous photos showed a young boy with glowing eyes peering out of a doorway, which some believed to be one of the DeFeo children. The Warrens concluded that the house was indeed haunted by a demonic presence, likely linked to the violent history and the tragic murders that occurred there. The Lutz's story quickly gained media attention and became the subject of Jay Anson's 1977 book, The Amityville Horror: A True Story. The book detailed the family's harrowing experiences and became a bestseller, leading to a series of movies and documentaries. However, the veracity of their claims has been a topic of intense debate. Skeptics argue that the story was fabricated or exaggerated for financial gain. William Weber, Ronald DeFeo Jr.'s defense attorney, claimed that he, along with the Lutzes, concocted the story over several bottles of wine. He stated that the haunting was a hoax to make money from book and movie deals. George and Kathy Lutz maintained the truthfulness of their experiences until their deaths. They underwent numerous polygraph tests, which they passed, further fueling the belief in the authenticity of their story. Despite the controversy, the Amityville Horror has left an indelible mark on popular culture. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue has become an iconic symbol of paranormal activity, drawing tourists and paranormal enthusiasts from around the world. Subsequent owners of the house have reported no unusual activity, leading some to question whether the Lutz's experiences were real or imagined. The story continues to captivate and terrify, serving as a cautionary tale about the unknown forces that may linger in places marked by tragedy and violence. Whether believed or dismissed, the Amityville Horror remains one of the most compelling and enduring stories of the paranormal, a haunting reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead.